Listen to me. If your heart still races when their name appears on your phone, if your chest tightens when you remember what you tolerated, if you're wondering why you still miss someone who hurt you, this moment is for you. I want to start with a truth that might shake you. Missing someone who was toxic does not mean they were good for you. It means you're human. It means your nervous system bonded to survival, not to love. You didn't fall in love with who they truly were. You fell in love with the hope of who you believed they could become. And that hope kept you quiet when you should have spoken. It kept you small when you should have taken up space. It kept you loyal to pain. You didn't stay because you were weak. You stayed because you were wired for connection. Because your heart kept saying, maybe this time it will be different. Because you kept choosing potential over patterns. And that's not stupidity, that's longing. That's a deep, aching desire to be chosen, to be safe, to be enough. But here's what I need you to hear deep in your bones. Love is not confusion. Love is not anxiety. Love is not walking on eggshells, rewriting your needs, shrinking your voice just to keep the peace. Love doesn't leave bruises on your self-worth. Healing begins the moment you stop asking, why wasn't I enough for them? And start asking, why did I believe I had to earn love through suffering? This is not the story of your brokenness. This is the beginning of your becoming. Let me tell you something most people won't say out loud. The hardest part of leaving a toxic relationship is not the goodbye. It's the withdrawal. Yes, withdrawal. Your body got addicted to the emotional roller coaster. The highs when they were kind. The crumbs when they showed up just enough. The adrenaline when you were scared of losing them. Your nervous system learned chaos and called it chemistry. It learned unpredictability and named it passion. So when it's over, your body panics. Not because they were your soulmate, but because your system lost what it thought was safety, even if that safety was wrapped in pain. That's why you feel empty. That's why you check your phone 100 times a day. That's why silence feels louder than their cruelty ever did. You are not weak for missing someone who hurt you. You are grieving a fantasy. You are mourning the future you kept trying to build alone. You are detoxing from a bond that was forged in fear, not in trust. And here's the brutal compassion I want to offer you. Closure is not something they can give you. Closure is something you claim. You don't heal by understanding why they were broken. You heal by understanding why you accepted broken behavior as love. You don't move on by waiting for an apology that will never come. You move on by giving yourself the apology you deserved. I'm sorry I abandoned myself to keep you. This ain't you feel. It's not proof you should go back. It's proof you're finally waking up. I need you to hear this gently, but clearly you cannot heal what you keep romanticizing. Every time you say, but they weren't always like that, you erase the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Every time you say, they had a good heart, you silence the moments your body begged you to leave. Every time you replay their best version, you betray your lived experience. Toxic love trains you to become a master of minimization. You minimize the insults. You minimize the manipulation. You minimize the betrayal. You minimize your own pain, and you call it compassion. But compassion without boundaries is self-abandonment. You keep asking, was it really that bad? Let me answer that for you. If you had to beg for basic respect, it was that bad. If you lost your voice trying to keep the peace, it was that bad. If you became smaller, quieter, more anxious, more uncertain of your worth, it was that bad. Your body remembers what your mind is trying to forget. That tightness in your chest, that knot in your stomach when you think about going back, that heaviness in your bones when you imagine another year like that, that is your wisdom speaking. Healing begins when you tell the truth without softening the edges, not to villainize them, not to drown in anger, but to honor your reality. You don't have to hate them to leave. You just have to love yourself more than the story you keep telling to survive the pain. And the moment you stop protecting the memory of someone who didn't protect your heart is the moment your freedom actually begins. Let's talk about the lie that kept you stuck longer than the pain itself. If I just love harder, they will change. You turned yourself into a therapist, a cheerleader, a fixer, a rescuer. You learned how to read their moods before they spoke. You learned how to soften your needs so they wouldn't feel attacked. You learned how to carry their wounds on your back and call it loyalty. And somewhere along the way, you forgot that love is not supposed to feel like a full-time job. You were not placed on this to heal someone who refuses to heal themselves. You were not born to be someone's emotional punching bag in the name of empathy. You were not meant to bleed quietly so someone else could stay comfortable. Let me say this with all the tenderness in my voice. You cannot save someone who keeps choosing their brokenness over your well-being. Their trauma explains their behavior, but it does not excuse the way they treated you. Read that again. Slowly. You stayed because you saw their pain and thought it made them good. You stayed because you believed your love could outgrow their demons. You stayed because you confused endurance with devotion. But love is not proven by how much you tolerate. Love is proven by how safe you feel to be fully yourself. And here is the grief you don't want to face. You are not mourning them. You are mourning the version of them that never actually existed. The one who would finally choose you. The one who would finally show up. The one who would finally love you the way you kept loving them. That person lives only in your hope, not in reality. And letting go means burying that fantasy, even when your heart still begs you to keep it alive. Now I want to take you somewhere uncomfortable, but sacred. Let's talk about the part you keep blaming yourself for. You keep replaying the red flags like a courtroom in your mind. Why didn't I leave the first time? Why did I go back? Why did I ignore my intuition? And every time you ask those questions, you punish the version of you who was just trying to survive. Hear me, you did not stay because you were stupid. You stayed because you were hopeful. You stayed because you were trauma bonded. You stayed because your nervous system confused intensity with intimacy. You stayed because you were taught that love means sacrifice. You made the best choices you could with the emotional tools you had at the time. That's not weakness. That's humanity. Self-blame feels productive because it gives you the illusion of control. If it was all your fault, then maybe next time you can prevent the pain. But here's the truth that will set you free. Some pain only teaches you by breaking your heart open. You were groomed slowly into accepting less. It didn't start with cruelty. It started with charm, with chemistry, with promises, with I've never felt this way about anyone before. By the time the mask fell, you were already emotionally invested, already bonded, already trying to make it work. So stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what happened to me? Shame will keep you stuck in the past. Compassion will carry you into your future. You don't heal by judging your wounds. You heal by holding them gently and saying, I did the best I could. And now I choose better. Now let's talk about the part no one prepares you for. Healing is not linear. It is messy. It is humbling. And some days it feels like you're moving backward instead of forward. You will have days where you feel strong, clear, grounded, and proud of yourself for leaving. And then you will have days where one song, one memory, one smell, one dream about them knocks the wind out of your chest. And you will think, what is wrong with me? Why am I not over this yet? Nothing is wrong with you. Your body is releasing years of stored fear, grief, hope, and disappointment. Your nervous system is learning a new language, the language of safety. And unlearning chaos takes time. Some days you won't miss them. You'll miss who you were when you still believed love would finally save you. You'll miss the version of you that still had hope glowing in her eyes. You'll miss the dream more than the person, and that grief will feel confusing. Let me normalize this for you. Healing hurts because you are dismantling an identity you built around survival. You are learning how to live without bracing for impact, without scanning for danger, without preparing your heart for the next betrayal. Of course, your system is tired. Of course, you feel foggy. Of course, you feel lonely in a room full of people. You are not broken. you are recalibrating. So when the sadness comes back like a wave, don't shame yourself for drowning in it. Let it wash through you. Name it. Breathe into it and whisper to yourself, this pain is not pulling me back. It is clearing me out. You are not starting over from zero. You are starting again from wisdom. Now listen to me closely, because this is where your real power begins. Healing is not just about getting over them. It's about coming back home to you. For a long time, your life revolved around their moods, their needs, their approval, their chaos. You learned how to abandon yourself in tiny, daily ways just to keep the connection alive. You stopped saying what you really felt. You stopped asking for what you really needed. You stopped trusting your own inner voice, and you called it love. But here is the reclamation. Every boundary you set now is an act of self-respect. Every time you choose rest over rumination, you are rewiring your worth. Every time you say no to what hurts, you are saying yes to your future. The season is not about becoming better, so someone will finally love you, right? This season is about becoming so anchored in your own value that you never again beg for crumbs. You are learning discernment. You are learning to notice how your body feels around someone. You are learning to trust discomfort as data, and that is sacred work. There will be moments when loneliness whispers, maybe it wasn't that bad, maybe you're asking for too much. That voice is not intuition. That voice is withdrawal. Your intuition feels calm, clear-grounded. It does not rush you back into pain. So build a life that feels like safety, soft mornings, honest friendships, quiet joy, routines that regulate your nervous system. This is not boring. This is healing. You are not losing love. You are learning how to choose it without bleeding for it first. I want to talk to you about forgiveness, not the kind that lets someone back into your life, but the kind that finally releases you. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay. Forgiveness is saying what they did no longer gets to control my nervous system, my choices, or my future. You don't owe them peace. You owe yourself peace. And here's something radical. You are allowed to be angry about what happened to you. Anger is not bitterness. Anger is clarity. Anger is the part of you that finally says, that was not okay. I deserved better. For too long, you swallowed your rage to stay lovable. You turned your pain inward and called it self-reflection. You gaslit yourself into compassion for someone who had none for you. Let the anger rise, not to destroy them, but to protect you. Anger helps you draw boundaries. Anger helps you stop romanticizing abuse. Anger helps you remember why you left. And then, when you're ready, you can lay it down, not because they apologized, not because they changed, not because they earned your forgiveness, but because you are tired of carrying the weight of what they did. You don't heal by becoming soft towards someone who harmed you. You heal by becoming fiercely loyal to yourself. Forgiveness is not a single moment. It is 1,000 tiny decisions to stop reopening the wound. Every time you choose your peace over your past, you are forgiving. And that is how you take your power back. Now let's talk about love, the kind you are afraid to believe in again. Right now, your heart is guarded. Your walls are high. Your trust feels fragile, like glass in your hands. And you tell yourself, I'm fine alone. I don't need anyone. But what you really mean is, I'm terrified of bleeding like that again. That fear is not weakness. That fear is wisdom that hasn't finished healing yet. Here's the truth. No one told you the goal is not to become someone who never needs anyone. The goal is to become someone who never abandons themselves for love again. You are not here to be bulletproof. You are here to be boundaried and brave. Healthy love will feel unfamiliar at first. It will feel slow. It will feel steady. It will feel boring to a nervous system addicted to chaos. And you might think, where's the spark? Where's the intensity? Why don't I feel obsessed? Because obsession was never love. It was survival. Real love does not spike your anxiety. It does not keep you guessing. It does not make you earn basic kindness. Real love feels like exhale, like safety, like being seen without performing. And you will know you are healed when you stop chasing chemistry and start choosing character. When you stop confusing butterflies with warning signs. When you stop calling distance mysterious, when you stop calling inconsistency exciting, you are not too damaged for healthy love. You are finally becoming calibrated for it. And one day you will look back at what you survived and whisper, thank God I didn't stay here is the final truth I want you to hold on to. Letting go is not a single act. It's a practice, a commitment, a daily decision to choose yourself over the version of love that hurt you. You are not defined by the people who left, betrayed, or broke you. You are defined by the courage it takes to show up for yourself every single day, by the bravery it takes to honor your boundaries, by the strength it takes to trust your intuition again. Healing is not neat, it is jagged, unpredictable, and sometimes unbearably slow. But every scar, every tear, every sleepless night is evidence of growth, proof that you survived, proof that you refused to let trauma become your identity, proof that you are choosing freedom over familiarity. You are learning to love yourself without compromise, to embrace joy without guilt, to create a life that feels safe, sacred, and abundant, even in the absence of someone else's validation. So today, take a deep breath and whisper to yourself, I am enough, I am worthy, I am free. And know this, the love you've been searching for has been waiting inside you all along. It's not found in someone else's approval or affection. It's found in the courage to release what no longer serves you, to honor your heart, and to rise whole, healed, and unstoppable. This is your reclamation. This is your freedom. This is how you let go and finally begin to live.